Scott says your decision shows you've abandoned inner city seats. Have you?
No, and somebody like, frankly, some of the Teals, Monique Ryan, Sophie Scomps, they will vote with Labor because they're Greens, they're not Teals. Be very honest about it. They are more inclined to vote Labor, to support Labor on every occasion. And that's their voting record in the parliament. So do I think that they're in touch with average families who are struggling to pay their power bills at the moment? No, I don't. I think Monique Ryan is in a very rarefied air that's quite distant from the people of Kooyong, and I don't think that she's got, frankly, a handle on the reality of what families are going through at the moment. Now, I put Anthony Albanese in the same category. This Prime Minister is weak and indecisive. He can't make the tough decisions that are required to help families and to help our economy. At the moment, the three budgets that they've delivered have all contributed to the situation that we find ourselves in, with anaemic growth in the economy and the prospect of recession, or at least a negative quarter over the quarter that we're in at the moment.
Targets aside, will the Australian public see your broader energy policy by the end of the month?
Well, we'll make announcements in relation to our energy policy when we see fit to do so. I'm not taking, again, advice from, with all due respect, I'm not taking advice from Chris Bowen on when we should announce our policy. I mean, when is Chris Bowen going to release his policy that will guarantee Australians get a $275 reduction in their electricity price? Because that's what the Prime Minister promised on 97 occasions before the last election. He's never mentioned it since, I might say, and it shows that he was just never genuine or serious about it. So in relation to nuclear energy, I think it's important to look at the facts. As Bill Gates says, you want to have the minimal impact on the environment with the maximum yield for every square metre of impact. So if you look at a 470 megawatt no emissions reactor, say the Rolls-Royce model, it takes up a land size of about 2 hectares or 5 acres. The equivalent in a solar array takes up 4,000 hectares or 10,000 acres. The waste of the small modular reactor is about a Coke can size per year, and it can deliver cheaper prices because it's got an 80-year or so life. That's the reality. So if you want to have a vision for our country, you need to make sure that you can keep the lights on, and you need to make sure that electricity is affordable. And what we know under this Prime Minister is that the energy regulator, the independent energy regulator, is warning that there will be blackouts and brownouts, and every Australian family knows that they're going to pay more and more for their electricity under this Prime Minister.
Why does he release that policy?
To be clear, you said that you're committed to the Paris Accord, but if there's any backsliding, that would be in breach of the 2015 agreement.
Look, I've heard this argument. I mean, what about the United States? Are they in breach? Because they're not going to reach their targets either. This government is not going to reach its target either. So again, Chris Bowen's interpretation, just blindly accepted by some journalists, it's a nonsense. I would always look at what Labor does, not what they say. They have presided over a mess because they have this ideological bent toward renewables only, and people know. I mean, people have cottoned on it. Australians aren't stupid. They know that the wind and solar, fantastic. I'm a strong supporter of renewables, and I want to firm renewables up because we've got 90% of baseload power going out of the system by 2034, which is why I say more gas, significantly more gas, is required into the system. This government's extending the life of coal-fired power stations at the moment. Is that in breach of their Paris commitment? It's going to see them get further away from their target. Okay, so I just think, again, you look at what they actually do, not what they say that they'll do, and their train wreck of a policy is being felt by every Australian at the moment because people's power prices keep going up, and now we know under this Prime Minister that there's likelihood of blackouts and brownouts. Thank you very much.